Okay, I've just started the webinar, so we should be seeing some of the participants come, like the audience come on soon. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're just giving, maybe another 2 to 3 minutes for people to just jump on slowly. Once again, hi, everybody. We'll just wait for a couple more minutes to get a few more people to jump on, and then we'll start the information session for Desafia. Okay, let's take a look. Hi, Gabriel. Hi. Okay, hi, everyone. Ah, there we go. Okay. Hi, Ty. Okay. I think I'm just gonna start. Give me a minute and I'll share the screen as well. Okay. So, hi, everybody. I'm Gwen, and I'm the head of international programs at MedTech Actuator. And let me share my screen. So we're really happy to have you here today. We're thankful to have you here this morning. I know you're about to all go off for a long weekend, so that's very exciting, and we appreciate you taking your time early this morning to be with us. So once again, I'm Gwen, and with me are some of our important team members. First and foremost, we have Matt, our Chief Operations Officer. And then we have Sebastian.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was waving or saying hello, but I'll talk in a moment. So I'll just wave. I'll wave for now.
And then we have Sebastian, our Chief Financial Officer.
Hi, all.
I think some of you would have already met these two amazing people in Spain. And then we have Darius, who's our Marketing and Communications Manager.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. And with us also is Patricia from Ethics.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll very quickly, we will introduce our panelists slightly later on, but basically I'll quickly go through the agenda of today. So we will really do a very short introduction of who MedTech Actuator is, followed by a panel session with our previous participants. So we have 3 participants with us here today. Very interestingly, one would be Legit.Health, one would be MedTech, and the other one is Biotech. So you get to hear a different perspective from all of them. And then and then after that, we'll jump right into the information session where you get a little bit more of those details about the program and a short Q&A at the end of the session. Okay, so without further ado, I will pass over the time to Matt for him to say a few words as well as to introduce our company.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Gwen. And I just want to echo the welcome along for everyone this evening to the Desafia 2024 program to Singapore with Australia information session. It's such a delight to have you here, and I'm thrilled to have a chance to chat to you. And I get the great pleasure of introducing this amazing panel shortly as well. But before we get into that, I might just take a moment to introduce myself in a little bit more detail, and also the MedTech Actuator, so you know who we are. So you've already met most of our amazing team. And as Gwen mentioned, I'm Matt, the Chief Commercial Officer. And in fact, I have 2 roles, Chief Commercial Officer and the Chief Operating Officer. So I've introduced myself incorrectly. What a great start. But there we go. So recently changing roles. But yeah, and my role in the company is to work across many different aspects of our programs and operations of the business. But also part of what I enjoy most is working directly with the amazing founders, amazing CEOs and startups who are working on such impactful, groundbreaking innovations in health tech. So, and that's a lot of why the MedTech Actuator exists. So if you don't know who we are, we're Asia Pacific's health venture catalyst, and our whole existence is around supporting founders, entrepreneurs like you on the call, and those that are joining us on the panel, who are really driving groundbreaking innovations in health and cutting through one of the most challenging markets to commercialize in, with a drive for impact and a drive for hopefully really big commercial returns as well, because we think you should be able to have both those things. So we've been working with health tech startups. We only work in health tech. That's our sector focus. And we've been doing it for around about 10 years, but 5 years as the MedTech Actuator. And in that time, through our accelerator program in particular, we've supported 80 startups. And in fact, across other programs, that's more than 200 startups. Those companies have gone on to raise hundreds of millions of dollars of capital, and the valuation of that portfolio is well in excess of $500 million. So they've plenty of fantastic statistics, really the heroes of the story, the startups, and through our support, we're really, really privileged they've been able to achieve such fantastic results, and we're just getting started. So we look forward to the next 5 years of what we were able to achieve in supporting these startups on that commercialization journey. It's also not completely possible to do this alone. Of course, we work at the center of an ecosystem of partners to deliver our programs, and that's across hospitals, research institutes, clinical trial providers, specialists in health tech. And as you all know, in this area, it requires a whole ecosystem of partners to support you. So through our connections, through our extensive networks of more than 150 partners across Australia and Singapore, we're able to deliver such fantastic programs like the Desafia program. And in this particular instance, of course, with great partners like ISEX. So Patricia, who's on the call today, that works very, very hard in the background with us to ensure we deliver a great program, but also the commercial officers, both in Singapore with Antonio and his team, and more recently with Rodrigo and the commercial office in Australia, also great supporters and collaborators through the program. So yeah, I just want to acknowledge their support in allowing us to deliver really successful programs, driving new health tech companies to succeed in their commercialization efforts. So that's a bit of an introduction about us. I'm more than happy if you've got any other questions later to answer that, or please connect via LinkedIn or reach out. Encourage you to sign up to our mailing list and you'd stay connected to our programs and activities. But for today, we want to talk to you about the Desafia 2024 program. I'm incredibly excited and passionate about driving health tech innovation, and I'm going to do my best to slow down my talking, because as much as I hope I don't have a very thick Australian accent, I need to make sure I'm being very, very clear in the way I talk so that we can have a good discussion. So as the screen suggests, I'm very privileged to welcome to join us this evening in Australia and for your morning, a fantastic panel. I'm going to give them the chance to introduce themselves in just a moment, but first up we have Gabriel, CEO of Vitala Technologies, Alicia Martínez from Time is Brain, CEO and co-founder, and Chief Operations Officer from Legit.Health, Taig Mac Carthy, who's joining us tonight. And as Gwen mentioned, Gabriel, Alicia, and Taig all came with us in the Desafia 2023 program. And we thought, you know what, we can talk all we like about what's happening in Singapore and Australia, but sometimes it's better to hear it from people like yourselves who have done it, and they can answer some questions and share with you a little bit about their experience and what surprised them and what they found interesting, and why you should think about coming on this program, but probably more importantly, why Asia Pacific and markets like Singapore and Australia should be on your horizon and should be something you consider. So welcome, amazing panel. Can I see your face again now? Great. I was a bit worried I was on my own there for a moment because I could only see myself and I thought I was talking. So in no specific order apart from the one that was on the screen, I'm going to invite you to please introduce yourselves. Gabrielle, number one, if you'd just like to take a moment to tell us who you are and maybe a quick intro to Vitala.
Thank you, Matt. Hello, everybody. My name is Gabriel Bestard, and I'm the CEO of Vitala. And at Vitala, what we have is a technology that allows biotech and pharma companies in the preclinical testing process bring their drugs to the market faster, cheaper, and using less animals, using our technology that is able to analyze metabolism in the cell inside of the mitochondria.
Amazing. Thanks, Gabrielle. Alicia.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me to be a participant in this panel. I'm glad to see you all again. I'm Alicia Martínez. I'm the CEO of Time is Brain. We are a MedTech company. We have created a medical device focused in the field of stroke. It is Brain 20, and for us, Brain 20 is the stroke electrocardiogram because it monitors the brain variability from stroke onset and through the entire patient journey to make faster and more efficient decisions, and then improving the outcome of a stroke.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alicia. And last, but of course not least, Taig, can I still see you on my screen? Oh, yep, you haven't left us. Good. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It was great seeing you again after the exciting and productive time we had in Singapore. So my name is Taig. I'm one of the co-founders of Legit.Health, and we provide AI services for dermatology to hospitals. So we were engaged mostly with physicians in Singapore, hospitals, anywhere that they may be using our technology.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So yeah, well, we've got a couple of questions. It's going to be a pretty natural panel discussion here just to reflect on the time in Australia and see, what your thoughts and expectations were going in, and then a little bit about the experience. So I'm going to throw some questions out and we'll see who wants to jump in and answer it. And if no one does, I'm going to have to nominate one of you. So let's see how we go. But first of all, I think the question that sort of I like to start with is that, and we got this a lot when we were at the panel. Oh, sorry, at the 4 Years From Now conference and meeting people and talking to them. Australia is a long way away, right? So Singapore is a long, long way away. Asia Pacific is one of those areas that people think about and then go, oh, we're focused on Europe or the US. So why should Spanish startups think about connecting with and understanding more about this region of the world? Gabriel, Alicia, Taig, who wants to start?
I can start. I mean, if we're going to follow this way of working, I'm the least nice from my colleagues, so I'm always going to be going ahead. So I'm going to speak this time, and then I'm going to let the other ones speak further.
Fine,
but
thank you. Good on you.
To me, it's a point between the opportunity and the friction.
Yeah.
So the opportunity, I mean, you can go anywhere in the world, and that there's business everywhere, but the opportunity is not as big everywhere. But also the friction you may expect from a particular geography is different, regulatorily, but also culturally, linguistically. And that's where I think that this program makes sense, because in that part of the world, the opportunity is quite large. But if you were to attempt, let's say, China or Japan, that would be suicidal, I would say, as a Spanish startup, just going there. Whereas Singapore is the most open ecosystem you can find, I would say. It's like having a small US in Asia. And Australia is kind of similar. So I think that's why it makes sense.
Thanks, Taig. Gabriel, Alicia, is there anything you'd like to add on? Gabriel, I can see you coming off mute. Fantastic.
Alicia, do you want to go first?
See what I meant? See what I meant?
Exactly, they're the nice ones. Yeah,
They use great
No.
Taig
people.
doesn't care. Yeah.
That's
consistent.
fine. Well, then I'll go ahead. So for us, it was a matter of also getting to understand how to craft the right strategy to enter into the Asian market. And as Stig was mentioning, it is very, the fact that they speak English helps a lot into the getting the business going. Culturally, they're a lot more similar to us than going, for instance, to Japan or Korea. And also they have a big research and development ecosystem that is very eager to work with international players. So for us, that was a good setup that also helps with the fact that everything that starts in Singapore, it's a big validation point for any of the other Asian countries. So from the gaining traction standpoint, that is a very good place to start. And similarly with what's happening with Australia. Australia is very far away, but at the same time, very few people go. So they're very eager to actually work and look for opportunities. And that was a very refreshing view that we found there.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's nice to reflect. I heard it on another panel I was involved in today, just the openness and collaborativeness of the ecosystem here as well. So it's great feedback, Gabriel. Alicia, now it's your turn. And I won't go through every question like this, but I think we'll give everyone a chance at the start. It'll be nice.
So for me, the most important thing was to discover or to have the chance, thanks to the program, of discovering how sensitive is Singapore and Australia ecosystem to the innovation. And because of that, the amazing number of opportunities coming from the government and other institutions to develop any kind of project. Here we are, 3 examples of MedTech, biotech, and digital health. So it was really, really amazing for me to realize how open, how prone they are, to promote and to introduce innovation in the ecosystem, and how they are linking all the players, in the value chain of the project. So this was really, really enlightening and a great chance, a full new market to discover. Yes, far away from Europe and the traditional Europe and United States that are not in any business plan, but no, like a new opportunity. And this, I think, in my opinion, this could be like a competitive advantage for any European company that is not so much prone or doesn't have the opportunity to jump to the APAC region. So in summary, a great chance to discover this part of the world and the amazing, the huge number of opportunities for any kind of startup.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. And we obviously in our business, Alicia, get to see a lot of technologies, a lot of different startups. And I honestly, I don't say this on every call, despite this being recorded at the moment. The quality and the progression of the startups and the technologies we're seeing come out of Europe and in particular Spain through this program are really amazing. So I think you're hitting on something quite important there when we're talking about the opportunity for such really good quality startups and technologies to connect with this part of the world, because I feel that there's going to be a strength underlying the offer that you can bring forward, which is really compelling. While we're talking to you, Alicia, and to prevent Taig from jumping in again too quickly, maybe what were some of the key memories that you have of the program, or some of the experiences that really stuck with you around being meaningful connections? I mean, we had a lot of group visits and some one-to-one meetings. What were the standouts for you? What were your key takeaways from the program?
That's a difficult question, Matt, because I have great memories for a lot of visits, and we did a lot of visits, a lot of places, a lot of people. So
we fit a lot in.
I think we have great time, but I mean, from personal and also for a business point of view, both. But I was really amazed about that in general the business that we did in Singapore, mostly those related to RMIT, A-Star, and some hospitals or government institutions. I mean, not only because of the facilities, but also because of the kindness of the people, and how they are prompt to listen to you, and then the problem is to realize or to to make a priority, regard of the different opportunities that they are offering to you. So for me, I mean, for me it was surprising the visits to this kind of, let's say, government institutions in Singapore, because the ecosystem, and the number and quality of facilities was really different compared to other, that I have been in the past, not only in Spain but also in other places, of mainly Europe.
Wonderful, thank you. And maybe same question, Taig, for you. What are your recollections? I know you spent. You guys did the Singapore component, so I guess focusing on Singapore, what were your recollections of the key takeaways or highlights of the program for Legit?
So for me, it was a matter of, I guess, well, first of all, yes, Matt?
I'm laughing, but that's great. It's great because I was asking Taig, but it's wonderful how you cut him off, Gabriel. So fantastic. Please keep going.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. But please, Gabriel, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, sorry, Taig. I'm sure next time you'll go first.
He deserves it. It's all good.
You go ahead. So, very much following up on what Alicia is mentioning, I think as a team of startups going there, we did create a very nice synergy and a very good camaraderie, and that just set the tone for a lot of what was coming. I have to give big stars to your team because you really spend the time to actually get to understand what we did and who we needed to talk to. And whenever we went to all these one-on-one meetings, they were extremely targeted. So that really made our job a lot easier, because every time we were to talk to somebody, it was because there was a reason to talk to these people. On top of that, there were various meetings that were general and that give us a better understanding of the ecosystem. But to me, it was just how much you spend time and effort to understand our needs that made the visits really, really productive.
Cool, thank you. Taig, the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could mention a million things, but I'm going to try to choose one. And it's actually the one that in and of itself, that one meeting, only if it was that one meeting, would have already justified the whole trip, which is, so we got connected to a key opinion leader dermatologist who was really looking forward to doing things for us. And we've continued talking with him about many projects. So that has been amazing and came from this. And I also want to say that your help in that was very instrumental as well, because like even small things such as, so like the dermatologist had a name in a format that I'm not used to. Like it was difficult to me, what was the first name, the last name, or how does that work?
Yeah.
So just silly things that you can't even ask ChatGPT because he doesn't know either. So just having that, ability to ask you, how should I do that? So it was great.
Wonderful. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting, right? There is we talked about cultural safety and that needing to know those little nuances of doing business, and sometimes underestimated just getting to connect with someone, but all the elements around ensuring that there's a warm and good way to make that introduction as successful as possible. That's a really good reflection, Taig. Thanks for sharing that. Gwen, I'm just going to pause for a moment because I know we're heading rapidly towards the end of our time for the panel session, and just see, I know you've opened up questions. Do we actually have any questions that anyone has? I just want to make sure we allow a couple of minutes for that.
No, we don't have any questions. No one has typed anything just yet, but if anyone wants to just raise your hand, we can turn on the microphone for you and you can ask a question as well.
Yeah, just to let, we've got about 5 minutes to run on the panel session, and before that, our panel members will be, unless they want to stick around, they're more than welcome, but I'm sure they're very, very busy and want to get off to
Yeah, we
commercialize
have
their
one.
technology, raising capital, having lunch, doing something apart from being here. So they might not be around to the end of the call. So if you've got
We
a
have a
question,
question.
now would be a good time.
Yeah, I've unmuted you, Liliana.
Liliana?
Hold on. Yeah.
Yes, hello there.
Hi, Liliana.
Oh yeah, well, we are joining this meeting because Seb invited us. And then I would like to, if it's not too much to ask, to have an overview, a quick overview of what is expected of this, like the visits. I know it's addressed to have a visit, but especially from my side, I'm the regulatory person at the company. So this is something that really we want to get to understand a little bit better.
Sure. No worries. We might circle back to that because, in fact, in this next section, we're going to give you a fair bit more detail on what you can expect from the program. And I think we might answer that question if you're able to stick with us for a few more minutes. Is that okay, Liliana?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Fantastic. Good question, though.
But-
We will come to that, I promise.
But I could say that should be people involved in business development. The one that they're going to take the most advantage out of the trip, I would say. Ideally, upper management. That would be the best, so they can have a big overview and make decisions later on whether or not Singapore or Australia makes sense.
Perfect. Thanks, Taig. Any other questions from the group, Gwen?
No, it doesn't seem like it. No
Okay,
questions.
no worries.
Yeah, I
All
think
good?
they might
All
have
good.
more questions later on.
Yeah, that's fine. No worries.
Yeah.
All good. Just wanted to make sure we had a chance to ask anything of the panelists before they leave us in a couple of minutes. But before we do, I just thought I'd give one last opportunity for each of you, Gabriel, Alicia, and Taig, and to share if there's any advice or any thoughts or anything else that you wanted to share about your experience in the program and why you should consider applying for the Desafia program. Alicia,
I do want to say something very quickly.
Also,
very quickly.
Taig, go ahead.
I'm very skeptic about this kind of programs because usually they're not worth it because it's a huge trip, and doing business is difficult anywhere, like even in Spain. So what can you expect of 5 days? But this, I would definitely do it again. So this is not like some other programs like misiones comerciales that I've been to. It's definitely different. So I would recommend it.
Amazing. Thanks, Taig.
Yeah,
Alicia?
I agree also in summary, Matt, I completely agree, Taig. You are always adapting about the investment of time and money. To do this kind of trips and programs, but I think it's really a down to earth program. So you can you have like real results about contacts and business opportunities or investment opportunities there. And actually, what I miss is to have like a Desafia follow-on program. I mean, and a specific program as a follow-on of the first one. If you would like to share with your colleagues, I would really appreciate it because you open a lot of doors, and then you can keep going, of course, online and after the program. But I think it would be also worth, to have the chance to come back again and to keep going in the business you can start. So I completely recommend. Don't be afraid about the trip. Don't be afraid about the distance. And I think it's a very good opportunity for any kind of company.
Thanks, Alicia. And a good point you make, I think, around the follow-on, because yes, it's great to get feedback on the program itself, and there's a lot we do, and we take that very seriously in spending the time to support the startups. But equally, the initiative is, the doors are open, and then you have to follow through and keep pushing, right? So it's not, as Taig was saying too, it's never business development is not easy. It's not one introduction, one meeting. And our job is to make that easier, make it fast-tracked, and ensure that, you know, if you connect into this region, you can do in a couple of weeks what would otherwise probably take you 2 years to do. But the rest is still up to you to drive that forward and convert those opportunities. Gabriel, I'm going to give you the final word of this panel.
I completely agree with my colleagues. This program doesn't end once you get home. It just moves to another phase of business development that you really need to be budgeting before you go to actually get the most out of it, because the real work begins once you get home.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Gwen, I think we're just about on time, so we might conclude the panel section there and give a final thank you to Taig, Alicia, and Gabriel for joining us. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to jump on and share some reflection of the trip and say lovely things about us as well. That was really appreciated.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great seeing you again.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. Look forward to catching up soon.
Many thanks.
Feel free, if you're more than
Thank
welcome
you.
to stick around, but you know this information.
Wait, we do have a question.
Oh,
Before you leave, do not, So question for Alicia and Taig, how did you progress since your first visit to Singapore, and how are you doing any clinical trials or any activities essentially?
In my case, yes. Yes. So with, in particular with this dermatologist I was speaking about, this is from a very prominent hospital in Singapore. And he was actually already doing a trial related to something that our technology is involved in. So he thought, hey, maybe I can incorporate this in our ongoing trial. So that was quite the coincidence, to say the least. But regulatorily speaking, if you're wondering about what kind of trials you need to do, what kind of evidence, what kind of paperwork you need to do in order to operate there, it's not as simple as you may imply from your question, but that would also get explained to you, not only in a trip there, but on the many webinars that you do before going. So if your question is around what prior work you need to do to work as a medical device there, that would be answered in depth during the program and before the program.
Thank you. Alicia, do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, in our case, thanks to the program, we have contact and we have engaged when let's say key opinion leader in Singapore, a stroke key opinion leader, and that is prompt to collaborate for a specific clinical trial or protocol that we have developed, and we are raising the money there in Singapore, thanks also with other institutions and her help. So hopefully we plan to launch the clinical trial in 2025 there. So it was a great also new for us. And also we have keep going in conversations with government institution also to support from the technical and also commercial point of view or from our company. And then in Australia we have also it's really similar to Taig or the Taig case. We propose to incorporate the technology in an current ongoing clinical trial. So it was also great news for us, because this is the first step to introduce product in this market. So we are really satisfied about the results and keep moving forward.
Thank you. Gabriel, actually, do you have anything to add, like just to end off? We have one more question. I do think that question we can take it on after the information session. So perhaps Gabriel can just close this segment with any leads or trials that you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. So beyond just trials, we also found a very interested investment community that we're still following up with. And besides the business development side and working with, we're starting to work with some of the accelerator programs there. We haven't actually talked about the investment opportunity, and it does exist for Singapore, at least in our experience, more so than it was for Australia, but I didn't want to leave it and forget about it. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to thank you so much for your time, for joining us, and for your good words and kind words as well. And we look forward to catching up with all of you as well. So please feel free to stay or leave and get on with your busy day. For the rest of you, I will just very quickly jump on and share the information session, so you'll really get a lot of details. I'm gonna share my screen again. Can everybody see my screen? I'm not sure if people are looking at my screen at all. Is it okay?
Yep. We
Okay,
can.
seeing things, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just browse through this. Why APAC? I think you kind of got that answer pretty much from the panel. Typically what you think of are these images, but really there's a lot more than this, and both Singapore and Australia have a really vibrant and fast-growing healthcare market. So while the rest of the world have really mature, especially in the West, a lot of the world have very mature healthcare market. It has kind of stabilized at a certain point. But right now, Asia Pacific is where the growth is, and it's where there's really, really fast and rapid growth in the healthcare market. And Singapore is obviously the gateway to Asia. Singapore is very, very tiny, but we are right at the heart of Southeast Asia, and with our geopolitics, stable geopolitics situation, it's good to, as well as availability of funds and the stability, financial stability. And we also have a lot of headquarters of a lot of pharmaceutical companies and other multinational companies here as well. So that's a great base for business and a great place to use as a gateway to the rest of Asia and Southeast Asia. And Australia has the 10th highest per capita healthcare expenditure in the world. A lot of first-class hospitals, research facilities, and very mature research facilities, as well as significant R&D savings and incentives, and an amazing innovation system, a very mature innovation system, and ecosystem as well. Okay, so Desafia Singapore and Australia basically is a program that is a market access program that will provide Spanish healthcare startups, health tech startups with smooth and accelerated pathway to access all the critical stakeholders in both Singapore as well as Australia through Melbourne specifically. And we would really like to help you gain not only market knowledge, but also cultural knowledge, and help you in your journey to expand into these markets. Okay, so I think we already went through quite a lot of this. Not only do we have government agencies, hospitals, insurers, we have different MNCs, we also have a lot of universities for you to start here, as well as a very vibrant workforce. Very similarly, Melbourne also has a very good workforce, a lot of good research universities, a very, very good research environment, coupled with their R&D tax incentives, and one of the world's largest biotechnological technology clusters as well. So obviously both Melbourne and Singapore have that benefit of being English speaking, so it would be a lot easier for people to enter without that language hurdle. Okay, jumping into the nitty-gritties, this program really has 3 big parts. So the first part is the online seminar that Tai spoke about just now. So prior to your trip, what we do is that we have a week long of online seminar where you get to learn more about how the healthcare system in Australia as well as in Singapore works. You get to speak with a lot of subject matter experts, such as regulatory experts, reimbursement experts, etc. And these people are experts in the field. So you get to ask questions, get to know all these different topics in depth. And then we have strategy sessions. These strategy sessions help us to get to know you better and help us to really learn, become your mouthpiece and become your ambassador, and help you look for the appropriate partners that would help bring your business successfully into Singapore and Australia. So these sessions are one-on-one. It's between MedTech Actuator and a single company. It's not like a group session. So it's really a very curated session for each company and each participant. And of course, the very exciting immersion trip. The immersion trip would involve 4 days in Singapore and 4 days in Australia. And through this immersion trip, you will get to meet the governments, the hospitals, you'll get to meet investors. So we have investor lunch. We will do group visits to hospitals, group visits to manufacturers, group visits to research institutions, etc. And then we also would have business to business meetings where I think Ty talked about, or Gabriel talked about, where we have tailored meetings to suit your needs and find partners that are interested to collaborate with you. So this is a sample of what the program will look like. This is the virtual immersion. So these are some of the topics that you will get to learn and understand, both for Singapore, Australia, as well as the bigger Asia regions such as China, Indonesia, Japan. Okay, and this is the sample immersion program for Singapore, where you get to meet a lot of the public healthcare hospitals, so SingHealth, National Healthcare Group. These are public hospital clusters, so they have a lot of other hospitals under them, non-profit organizations, MNCs, manufacturers, grant givers, funders, as well as research institution. Same for Australia. You will get to meet the government as well, go to the hospitals, meet with research institutions, universities, insurers, etc. And you will also get to go to the MedTech Actuator Annual Showcase, which is a really glamorous event where you get to meet a lot of the stakeholders within the healthcare ecosystem in Melbourne and all over Australia for that matter, for a night of fun. And yeah. Some of the key dates that we're looking at. So don't worry, after this, I will be sending out this deck to you as well tomorrow. So you will get you don't need to worry about getting screenshots and all that. You will receive this deck. So applications will close on the 16th of April. Today is the virtual information session. From the 21st of April, we will be conducting interviews and selection will be done by the 3rd of May. 10 days later, we have the group onboarding session where we get to just go through details and nitty-gritties. And then the virtual immersion would be in the week, would be at the end of June. The immersion trip will be post-summer and it will be in October. So it'll be 4 days in Singapore, Tuesday to Friday, and then 4 days in Australia, Monday to Thursday. So it is a hybrid program and participants must be able to attend both the virtual immersion as well as the actual physical immersion trip. And why should you join? This obviously will be able to provide business insight for you. And you will get warm introductions to key stakeholders in the ecosystem. So things that you might take years to form and years to really just even get a contact for that person by knocking on cold doors and sending out cold emails. You will get really specific context through these sessions. So when you go to a hospital to visit, for example, you will get to meet with the innovation team or the research team, people who know what to do with you and not just like a receptionist at the hospital, for example. And of course, connect with the community in Singapore and Australia. The eligibility. So applicants must be a deep tech, medtech, biotech, health tech startup, addressing a need that is suitable in both countries or one of the countries, have very strong motivation to expand into the area, must be able to attend all of the virtual and in-person programs, and you must be a founder or a C-suite or director to be joining this program and be able to communicate and converse in English as well. Next steps. So if you have a lot of questions, so if you want to know whether you are suitable for the program, you don't know, or you have even more burning questions that you feel cannot be answered through this session, please feel free to book a time with me before the application closes. And then that's also the application form, application link right there. We will once again send this over to you, so don't worry about having to take a screenshot. All right, I do see some questions. So I think for Pablo, you were asking would we recommend this program once the product is approved to commercialize, or even if there's an interest. So I would recommend, yes, if you have a product to commercialize, that would be brilliant, like amazing. If you already have regulatory approval, that would really help to speed up your journey into APAC. But it doesn't mean that you have to have one to enter this program. So this program is also suitable for people who are, for example, in the midst of their regulatory approval, or have done certain trials and want to do other trials or continue your trials in another place. So in Singapore and Australia. It is also suitable for people who really want to start their clinical trials as well, because Australia has that really good clinical trial network system and support system also. So the answer is yes, it's amazing if you have a product that's approved, but you don't have to, because this is a good opportunity to start a collaboration with the hospitals, with the research institutions in Singapore, as well as in Australia. Matt, is there anything you want to add with regards to
Yeah, just really to reinforce that, Gwen, and to say in terms of stage, Pablo, Gwen's precisely right. It's both companies that have a product and they're maybe commercialized it already in a home market. So maybe you're already with V1 of a product in Spain, or you're quite progressed in that and you're looking to lift the same product and start to internationalize. That's fantastic. But equally, if you're earlier in that development cycle, that's fine too, because same with Alicia and some of the others on the call, they're pre-market, they're early in the development, and they've found some key stakeholders to build that clinical evidence with and to adjust the protocols of their clinical trial. I think what I would say is that if you're unsure, you're better off going and submitting an application if you're really, really keen to participate. The only real thing that we would look out for is super early stage. And usually a measure of is sort of the traction is sometimes we look at maybe funding progress. So it's good to come out where in any case, whether you've got a product or a product development that you're looking to do, if you've got some funding to execute against it, or you've got some confidence that you would have some funding coming, that you'd actually be able to go ahead and execute against that clinical trial or take advantage of those connections. So that was something we might look out for, but everyone's a little bit different. So it's unless you're super early, then that might be a challenge. But otherwise, yeah, go ahead and put an application in, and then we could assess it from there.
Is there any other question? Is the program open for scale-ups too and SMEs? Yes, I believe the program is open for scale-ups and SMEs too. But Matt and Patricia maybe might want to just quickly jump on.
Yeah, I can answer.
Okay. I'm not sure if I lost you, Matt.
Sorry, I was talking and my microphone was off, so that's not a good move. So from our side, that's fine. I think that the definition of that company is okay. Patricia, I'm not sure if you're around and wanted to add anything to the eligibility on the company size from the SX criteria, or if you're not available, that's fine as well.
Yes. From ICES, yes, the program is open to scale ups and also to SMEs if they comply with the requirements that Gwen has already presented. We need a deep tech company and very interested in expanding to Asia and to Australia, but yes, the program is open. And when I don't know if we have any other questions, because if not, maybe I would like just to say a few words about the program from ICES, but just to I don't need to complete anything of your presentation. Thank you. It was great, and just would like to introduce myself. I'm Patricia, and I'm the person in charge of the program in ICEX, and just wanted to say hi to the companies that have joined the session, and to tell you, I don't know if you know about Desafia, but this is a a program with an important background. We started to develop this program in 2010, I think, in San Francisco. And we have now a number of programs in different markets. We have programs in Germany, in the UK, in the USA, in different sectors like digital economy, and we are working in a biotech program in the US too. And but for the moment, the only one focused in the health tech and biotech sector is this one in Singapore. And well, I don't have many things to add to this presentation. I think that the best introduction to the program is the testimonials from Gabriel, Taig, and Alicia. But I would like to add to the presentation that Gwen did that besides these visits, in each visit or in many of them, you will also have the opportunity to pitch, to present, to introduce your company to the partners, and that I think that that's another of the main values of the program. Also about this Desafía Singapore, this is the 4th edition. We started to work with MedTech Actuator in 2021, and I think that last year, 2023, was the best edition that we had. The organization was amazing, and all the companies were really happy. You have seen 3 of them, but the 8 of them were very happy, and after coming back to Spain, they all told to us to let us know that they felt very happy to be able to join the program, and that they will recommend that in both MedTech Actuator as the organizer in the markets, and the Desafia as the mean to access Australia and Singapore. About the markets, I don't know if you mentioned that, Gwen, but just to let you know, the main market of Desafia is Singapore. Of course, we want all of you to be in Australia too, but it's true that the mandatory part is mandatory is Singapore. So if for some reason Australia is not in your scope, it's true that where you will always have to travel is to Singapore, and that means that there is not an option to travel into Australia but not to Singapore, just to let you know. And I don't know if there is any. Yes, and this is something more operational, but I think that it's important to mention that and ensure that if you have an interview with Matt and Seth in Barcelona when they were there, they mentioned that the program about the funding is funded by IFEX. That means that all the interviews or the meetings and many other expenses are covered by the program, but the companies must cover the traveling expenses and also the accommodation expenses. So that's also something to consider, because we know that sometimes it has happened in the past that some companies that were selected to be in the program finally declined to participate because they finally saw that the investment, the economical investment was very high. We think that you are investing your time in a huge opportunity that will be very fruitful, but we also understand that you have to consider that. So just to let you know, that's an important part also to consider. And besides that, I would like to encourage you to register, to complete the application form, and hope that we will see you in the interviews in April, and that you will be in the program in October. And that's all from my side, Gwen. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And that's right. That's really something that I did leave out, which is yeah, the plane tickets as well as the hotel and accommodation will be on your end, although we have hotels and we have corporate rates for you to stay with us and kind of so that we are all under the same roof, and these rates are more attractive than the normal market rates. And you know, the program itself, the transportation, most of the transportation and most of the meals within the program hours are covered by ETHEX. Okay. And I think we have one more question, just one last question from Natalia. Is there any preliminary checklist to evaluate the technology we are developing? Given the geographical position of APAC, do we need to think about establishing an office in Singapore or Melbourne? Thank you. So perhaps I'll start first and then Matt can just supplement
Sure.
as well. Preliminary checklist, I think like we said, if you are deep tech and you belong within biotech, medtech, and digital health, you are either looking for collaborations or looking to look for distributors and customers. You'll be the ideal profile. You do not need to, it's not compulsory for you to end up establishing an office in Singapore or Melbourne. So that really depends on what do you want to do in Singapore and what do you want to do in Melbourne, right? So if, for example, for Taig and Alicia, I think none of them has established a company anywhere and they're doing this remotely. And if your collaboration allows for you to do that, then that's the way to go. And I think along the way, as you explore the types of collaborations and things that you want to do in Singapore and in Australia, you will start to understand whether there is a need to establish a company, or you can just do it remotely and find a partner to do so. Yeah. Matt, anything to add on?
Really, Gwen, you've answered it beautifully, but I'll just reinforce to say that part of the objective of the program is to help you answer that question. So you'll learn that through the knowledge sessions, through asking questions, through meeting experts. Your technology and your development plan will be very unique to you. So I think that's something that you'll be able to answer. But of course, there's no requirement, or it's not that you'd be at a stage where you're expecting to do that to get the most out of the program. So I hope, Natalia, that answers your question.
All right. And with that, we'll end this session. But once again, I will be sending this recording of the session out, as well as the deck that we have. So you will be able to, you know, book a time with us if you have more questions, send me an email if you have more questions, as well as apply for this program if you're interested. And we're very, very happy that you're here, and we are looking forward to seeing your applications. That's actually a really exciting part of our job. Yeah. It brings a lot of like purpose to us as well. And we look forward to seeing some of you at the interview as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, the panels. I don't think they're here anymore. Have a wonderful day ahead and a wonderful Easter holiday as well. See you, everyone. Thank you.
Everyone, see you, Patricia.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for jumping on.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good to see you.
Okay. See you.